Welcome everyone to this video. I'm going to be showing you my $8 million investment portfolio, and really the goal of this video is to show you a couple of things. So number one, I believe if you're learning investing from someone, they should be doing some good numbers themselves and also be transparent in them. So that's why I'm making this video. Second, I am in 4 different type of investment opportunities, and I want to show you which ones I'm in, and how you can potentially get in some of these yourself if you would like, and obviously how I got into them myself, and then of course a general recommendation that I'd make based on the network you're at. But of course, don't deem this as financial advice. I really just want to show you what I'm doing and what is possible for yourself. So without further ado, let's dive into it. All right, so firstly, I have Skool, which is on my screen right here. And Skool is basically a software company that helps community creators, course creators. So think of a fitness coach that has people in the trajectory and invites them onto a platform so they have a nice overview of the community, the course material, where they can attend certain events. And it's really growing incredibly fast. I cannot discuss metrics, and I also want to be respectful towards the company in terms of what I'm going to share. So I'm not going to share anything crazy, more so what I've invested into myself in terms of the amount, the value of the investment, and give you a rough estimate of what that has become. And I think most importantly too, how I got into the opportunities. Right now, Skool is my biggest holding in terms of value because the company has, pretty much X10 since I invested, which is incredible. And the way I got into this opportunity was because I was part of the CEO's previous mastermind that he ran. His name is Sam Ovens, and he's an incredible entrepreneur. And I really believe in what he has done with his previous companies and also what his mission and vision for Skool is. And they also have an incredible partner on board who is called Alex Ramosi. Many of you probably know him, and he is also, pretty much the co-owner in Skool. And I got into it because Sam was doing a, kind of an internal fundraising to raise funds with his mastermind clients, and I was one of his clients, and that's how I got into this opportunity. And that's, why I'm also going to say your network is your net worth. And if you also want to get into opportunities like this yourself, I'd say number one, get into people's networks that are valuable entrepreneurs that have tons of connections. So think of Ty Lopez, Alex Ramosi, other entrepreneurs that are at a high level. Now the question of course is, how do you get into those networks? And I'd say a great way is obviously to enter one of their programs, maybe join their one-on-one programs. I know Alex does really tight-knit workshops. I know that Ty has a one-on-one, and that's personally what I would do. So I got in Sam's proximity, and that's basically how I got into this opportunity. Otherwise, I would have never been able to, because I then didn't have the awareness that there was this opportunity out there. So that's my recommendation number one. Now, second, you can also look at, competitors, let's say of Skool, and you can essentially take a look at if they're doing any fundraisers. There's a lot of private companies that tend to join fundraisers, and then you can also research those companies and kind of companies they're looking at and investing into. That is essentially a pathway as well that you could embark upon. So that's basically Skool. It's my biggest holding right now in terms of the value it has in USD. I'm planning on holding it for the long term. I'm also buying more people's shares of investors that have joined back in November that want to sell now. So I recently bought one, and upcoming week I'm going to be doing another one. Going into number two, so right here I have my stock portfolio. And I'm going to be transparent because I got in 2 weeks ago. P&L looks great right now, but I can also change quite quickly, right? That is stocks for you. And, so I got in at November 21, and then a couple days later, I was down about 40K in my portfolio. But then another week passed, and now I'm up basically 2.5% on my portfolio, which equates to about 60,000 USD right now. Now, I've learned from a great person. His name is Felix Pren. His name is Goat Academy on YouTube. So if you want to learn more, I definitely recommend to check him out. He's been a great help. But I've also done a lot of research myself in different communities, online, reading a book called The Intelligent Investor, and also studying Warren Buffett's speeches that he gives to his company internally at Berkshire Hathaway, also how he looks at investing. So I've been doing a lot of work there. And right now, my goal is not to do any day trading or swing trading. It's just to hold for the long term as of now until I get more competent, and then maybe I can, do some more risky types of trades like event-driven trades, which is basically when, for example, a company releases their earnings. If you believe they've done well, you can invest prior to the release of it, and your stocks can go up quite drastically, but also the opposite, right? So again, not financial advice, but that's kind of my vision and currently what I'm doing with stocks now. So as you can see, I got 1.7 million into it, 60K up, and I'm very much immersed into it because you can be proactive with this because you're doing your own holdings and your own investments. Initially, I was considering hedge funds, but I'm not really a fan of it for two reasons. Number one, 95% of hedge funds don't even beat the S&P 500. And number two, you pay quite some drastic fees for someone else to manage it. And I'd say even another one is like, why would you invest with a hedge fund if you don't even know, how investing and trading and stuff like that works? It's kind of like, teaching sales coaching when you don't even know how to do sales, right? Or making a decision on hiring a manager to come in to train your sales team, but then you don't know what a good or bad manager is because you don't own the skill set yourself. So that's my perception. So that's my second biggest holding at the moment. My goal is to make, 30, 50, the higher the better, returns in my first year. I want to be realistic, also take some more risk. Right now, you can see my holdings right here. I've got 6 individual stocks and I'm in 3 index funds. The third one, I'm invested into a restaurant called Grazza. I've put $1 million in USD into the company. Currently, the location that we own in Amsterdam, as well as the assets that we own and the concept are worth about $1 million to 1.5 million. And I basically own an equity in a company that I get paid out quarterly. It's going really well now. Obviously, margins in a restaurant are thin. And the way I got into this opportunity was basically through a friend of mine. And he was actually my first agency client ever. And, he ran this idea by me. I loved it, invested into it, and that is the current investment right now. Now, I will be transparent. Restaurants have its swings, and I also had to invest additionally because of like the buffer being at a low end. But now, having done that about a year ago, company has a healthy buffer. It's growing in revenue. The concept is amazing. It's a pretty lean and mean team, and I really believe in the person who's running it. And that is the third investment that I hold, which is Grazza.nl or .nl. So if you're ever in Amsterdam, check it out. It's a great restaurant. I love it. They make great food, and I believe in the vision that they have too. So that is my third one. My fourth one is my house. So that's real estate. So I bought this home as more so a future family home, but of course it has a real estate component and a value to it as well, as real estate continues to grow with, I'd say in the Netherlands about 5 to 8% a year. Obviously, the cost can come down with, changes being made to the economy and politically, but, I believe that's not going to be anytime soon because, my personal opinion is that people have been saying that for years. Real estate's going to go down, living's going to become more affordable, but, you don't really see that happen anywhere. As far as I'm aware. So I bought this home for 1.1 million, and that is the fourth asset that I own. So to recap, I own shares in Skool, I own stocks, I own a restaurant, and then of course real estate. So right now, everything accumulated based on the numbers and valuation that there is tangibly on Skool, my stocks, the restaurant, my home, comes down to around 8 million. And now when it comes down to getting into these types of opportunities yourself, and I'd say mainly the first two is more so what I would do if I were, starting investing completely from scratch, I would say get into stocks. That is honestly the biggest one. I had also considered crypto in November, but I believe that crypto is great and it can work, but I want to learn one thing at the same time, which I recommend for anyone that is under wealth building journey. Don't spread yourself too thin and do like 5 things at the same time. Do one thing and do it with excellence. And once you have a good foundation down, go ahead, expand it out. And then from there, you can build it for the long term and not just try to make short-term quick money and be in like types of different things and then lose money here, lose money there. Keep it simple, keep it concentrated. And, if I were to give an investor or someone that wants to start out like yourself in this space, get into stocks, number one. I preferred, like my great friend Felix, he's a great teacher. And then also I'd say if you want to get into venture capital opportunities like Skool, build up your own network, because obviously the best opportunities are not going to be publicized, especially because, you don't know any companies until they're IPO. So you have to go in and do some research yourself by, first of all, getting awareness of the opportunity, which I'd say the best way to get in is through a network. And then also you've got different websites that, you can enter and see different opportunities on companies that are fundraising, and learn how to read, the fundamentals of the company, the vision, the industry they're in, and what you believe that's going to be meaning in the future of the economy and where the overall industry is headed. And that's also why I'm very bullish, in my stock portfolio on companies like Tesla, Palantir, SoFi. So I don't want to speak too much stock jargon here, but that is basically my portfolio and what I would recommend for anyone. And again, it's not financial advice, but if you are an investor, that's what I would look at. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. That is my portfolio at the moment. I'm going to keep you guys posted on absolutely everything. And I hope to see you in the next video, and hope you got plenty of value out of this one.